Hello and welcome back to my channel. It's long time no see. I was on a hiatus. I took a long pause from filming and, to be honest, almost from all social media. But now I'm starting to miss being here with you, and yeah, I decided just to make a very short, rapid. Which one is it? Is this November wrap up? So here are the books that I read in the month of November. The first book that I read this month was a graphic novel, and it is a Tea Dragon Society. I had a Norwegian edition of this book. It is already back in the library, and it was a library copy, so I can't show you physically here, but I can show you the picture of it. And I gave it 4 stars. It was really cute and heartwarming stories about 2 girls who meet each other. They start being friends, and they are raising dragons and taking care of the tea dragons. The dragons who gives you tea. It sounds a little bit confusing, but I promise you it's a very, very cute and lovely story. The second book that I read is also from the library, and it's also a graphic novel, and it is a very popular one, and I finally decided that maybe it's time for me to just try reading it, because I'm a little bit hesitant with very, very popular books because usually I don't like them, but this time I was pleasantly surprised. And what I'm talking about, it's Heartstopper Volume 1 by Alice Oseman, and like I said, I was pleasantly surprised. I really like the story. It's very wholesome. Both characters, 2 main characters, are just amazing. They are such a sweet boys, and yeah, I wish them well. So I already have the rest of the volumes here in my house, and I will read them next month, in the beginning of the month, because I want to know what's happened next. So I gave that one as well 4 stars. The third one was also a graphic novel, also a Norwegian edition, Dette var Pakten vår by I don't remember the author name, so I just see in my paper. It's by Ryan Andrews, and I'm sorry I don't remember the original title of this book, but like I said, it was a graphic novel. I think you can say that it is a magical realism, because we have a group of boys who strikes a pact to see where the lanterns go. And what I'm talking about is that they live in a small village, and every year at the same time, at the same day, they let the lanterns go in the river. And the story is that when they reach the end of that river, the lanterns turns into a stars, and the boys want to know if this is true, if those lanterns really turns into stars. And yeah, they go on the adventure, and they meet a magical animals, and they meet strange people, but it's very thin line between a real world and that of a little bit of a magical world. So I think I can say that it is a magical realism book for kids around 9 to 12 years old. I liked some of it. I wasn't that very interested in the story. I read it because it was short, to be honest, and I didn't like that much the art style in that book. And in the graphic novel, the art style is very important. At least I think so. So like I said, it was okay story. I'm glad I read it, and I gave it 3 stars. Another one is also graphic novel. Majority of of my books that I read this month are the graphic novels. So another one that, like I said, is graphic novel, and it is Nicolina by Sarah Doyer, I think, and it is a second installment in the story. And in this series we have a girl, Nicolina, who goes into the island, the secret island, which is not infested, but there lives a lot of magical creatures, and she wants to study them. She wants to be a cryptozoologist, and now she goes there to study those animals. However, it reminds me a little bit of, very, very loosely reminds me of Harry Potter, because we already have main character who is not like everybody else. She has some secrets, and she gets into trouble from the first year she goes there. And yeah, we're trying to find out what's happening, because her friends are turning into stone. And yeah, that's all I can tell you without spoiling it. I really like it. It's very interesting. It's a very cute story. I like Nicolina as the character. She is flawed. She has some flaws, but who doesn't? And I love characters that are portrayed like that. They have their gray side of them. So yeah, I gave this one 4 stars. Another one is also a graphic novel, and it's also a Norwegian edition. It's Spilledåsen number 2 in the series by Carbon, I think. I think it's a French series, graphic novel series, I'm not sure. But it's okay series. It's definitely not my favorite, but I still want to know what's happening, so I give it 3 stars. And in this book we have a girl who, I think she's around 7 or 8 years old, and she gets from her mother a sphere that should make music, I think. However, if you turn the key in the right way, you are transported to the to another world. And now she is like a gatekeeper between those two worlds. She can't let anyone and anybody else know about that world, and also she wants to help her friends that she made in that another world, and she goes on some adventures. There's a lot of adventures. The graphic novel is very colorful, and it's definitely fits for kids, because I know that kids usually like colorful things, so it's definitely a good one to give to your child. I think it's around, it could be best for, I think it's best for the kids, for the younger side of the kids, around maybe 8 to 9 years old. At least I would consider that. And like I said, I liked it. I already on the second book. I think I have the third one as well for the next month, and I gave this one 3 stars. Also, I read 2 first books in Enola Holmes series, also graphic novel series, and I really liked it. I think I gave those 3 stars. Let me just check. Yeah, I liked it. It's not the best thing that I have read, but I liked it. I was invested in the story. I gave both of them 3 stars. I just think that Enola, I think, is how old is she? 13 or 14? But in those books she acts like she's an adult, and no one else notices that she is a child. She talks like an adult, and everyone around her talks to her like she is an adult. And I don't think that in the real world the 13-year-old could be that good in in changing her appearance to look like, maybe appearance you can change to look older than you are, but to think and talk like you are an not old, but adult, I think that's a little bit suspicious in this book. I don't know. Yeah, she's Enola Holmes. She's a sister of a famous Sherlock Holmes, so maybe that runs in the family. Maybe she is very smart. I think, yes, she is smart, but nonetheless, I couldn't go past that everyone talked to her like she was an adult, and she lived alone in the London, in the huge city that, yeah, I couldn't look past that, like I said. So I gave it 3 stars. Another book finally is a novel, and I listened that one on my Storytel app, and that is The Outsider by Stephen King. In this book we have a very gruesome murder of a boy, and the football coach is a teacher and also a coach, and he is now a suspect, the main suspect in this case, and everything shows that it is him that made that crime. However, he says that he didn't, and there are few witnesses that say that at the time of the murder he was with them. However, there are few other witnesses that say that they saw him with blood on him in that city where the crime was made. So now we have a very huge mystery, and with with every Stephen King book, it is long, it is slow, it is more maybe characters based, but I like books like that. And there's a lot of plot twists in this book, and I think this one was maybe the easiest for me to know almost from the beginning that what will happen. I had a feeling and turned out that I was right, but that's okay. I still wanted to know if I was correct in guessing what was happening. And yeah, it's very gruesome, like I said, like every other Stephen King book. And yeah, I liked it. I think I gave it 4 stars, if I'm correct. Yeah, I gave it 4 stars. Another one, finally I can show you a physical copy of the book that I read, is the Lithuanian edition, Aš karalienė, I Am the Queen, by Susan Hastings. And in this huge book we have a Queen Isabel. It's 1464. It's Castilla, it's Spain. She is a child who is like a pawn in the royal games and family games, and we follow her from when she was, I think, 12 years old, until she becomes a queen, and she turns her country into very strong, very very strong country, because before her brother wasn't the greatest a king. There was a lot of crimes in that country, and so on. And yeah, she now is a queen. She's a very loved queen of her country, and we follow until, like I said, her from when she was 12 until her death. And we know what happened with her and with her husband and with her kids and so on. It's extremely slow book, and it took me almost 2 months to finish it. I'm trying to be quick because my battery is almost empty. This one I gave it 1 star and I DNF'd it. It's a book about 5 ladies who turns into the hotel and they starve themselves because they want to lose weight. 1 star. And this one I gave it 4 stars. I listened it on my audio. It's a family story. It's a first book in the trilogy, and I liked it. I gave it 4 stars, and that will be, I think, it. Sorry for the rushed ending, but thanks for watching, and hopefully you will like it. Give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.